Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a special edition weekday little extravaganza, yes, where I'm going to be predicting all the college football Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night games. Maybe this will be a thing that I do every week, but because we are getting to the point where, this year it seems like they're doing Tuesday night games now. I remember we always have the MAC games starting on Tuesday, but that's later in the season, but they're kicking it up a little bit earlier. A lot of these games are not good teams, folks. Let's just call it what it is, but it still is interesting, and then we're going to take a look at some of the betting data. Who are people putting their bets on? Where's the smart money going in these weeknight games? Here, we're going to begin tonight, Wednesday night, 7:30. It is Florida International sitting -2.5. I think they were +2, but this line's moved swiftly. And I actually like UTEP, believe it or not, to win this game outright. Again, they were favorites by 2 points on the road. Florida International, we remember them from last year. They were horrible. This year, they're a little bit better. I have heard people saying to take the under in this game. I think the over-under is 44, so the total here would be 43. Personally, I don't feel confident enough about either of these teams to bet one way or another, but if I had to bet, I think there is value on UTEP plus the 2.5, possibly to win this game outright. The next Wednesday night game, it's Sam Houston taking on New Mexico State. New Mexico State a little bit improved. They've always been one of the worst teams in FBS. New Mexico State sitting -3.5. Sam Houston 0-5 right now. They make the move to FBS. They're looking for the first win. And guys, I am predicting that Sam Houston, congratulations, your first win, 22-21. A lot of smart people in on Sam Houston. They're a lock to cover the 3.5 in this game against a New Mexico State team who again, they've been better this year. For sure, they've been better. And even last year, didn't they make a bowl last year at 6-6, but they were like one of the worst 6-6 teams in history or something, at least analytically. It was something like that, and then they played at Ford Field. Either way, I will take Sam Houston. They're due for it. They're going to win this game. They're going to improve to 1-5 on the year. Moving to the Thursday games, this is the big Thursday night game. 7 o'clock game. We've got some murmurs about West Virginia because of the current situation and the status of the Big 12. It is such a bad conference this year outside of Oklahoma and Texas. People are starting to look at West Virginia and say, can they crash the party and possibly win all these games, maybe even get into the Big 12 championship? I think there's zero chance of that happening because West Virginia still has a road game at Oklahoma, and they're going to lose other games, including, believe it or not, this one. I have Houston at home winning this game by 6 points against a West Virginia team who is overdue for a loss. Houston wins this game by 6. West Virginia sitting -3. You can see ESPN FPI. It's basically a toss-up. But I will say if West Virginia wins this game, even if it's only by a point, they will be ranked, I'm guessing, because then they would be 5-1 on the year. They did have a bye last week. And remember, West Virginia, by the way, their only loss is on the road at Penn State. Now, that was, not a competitive game. Could you imagine if you're Penn State, you beat West Virginia? Obviously, everyone thought West Virginia was going to go like 4-8 this year, 3-9. And now you're possibly looking at West Virginia winning all these games and it's going to become a ranked win for Penn State? No way. No. That was a week 1 game. Yeah. I don't see it happening. I see Houston winning this game. West Virginia's, both of these teams in terms of roster talent are very similar. So I'll take the home team. The only reason West Virginia is favorites is because of their nice little start to the season that they've had. Moving on, this is a 7:30 game. It is SMU sitting -12. They've been a streaky team this year. At the beginning of the year, we thought maybe, this is a team. They could use the momentum of them getting into a Power 5 conference, the ACC, but it hasn't really happened. They got crushed by Oklahoma. They lost another game. They are sitting -12 at East Carolina. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. We love the over in this game. The over might be in the low 50s in this one, but yeah, I'll also take East Carolina because it's one of those college football Thursday night vibes. It's a crazy game. 12 points is a lot to cover. I don't feel extremely confident about East Carolina covering just because I'm not extremely familiar with their team, but I do feel very confident about the over because it's analytically based and it's a virtual lock in terms of that. So that's a Thursday night game. And then there are 3 Friday games. So this is Tulane at Memphis. Tulane's sitting -5 right now. We remember Tulane last year. They lose Tajay Spears to the draft. They return Michael Pratt. He gets injured. They end up losing to Ole Miss. They lose another game. They are sitting -5, but I'm going to take Memphis at home. There's a trend in college football when it comes to these weeknight games. If the spread is close and like the home team is like a 4 or 5 point underdog, they're great value during the weeknight games because the weeknight games, they're always going to favor the home team based on quick turnarounds, based on travel. I will take Memphis to win this game outright plus the 5. Next, we do have Fresno State traveling to Utah State, and I did kind of just contradict myself because, guys, every model, and this is a weird thing with Utah State where they have generated explosive plays. They've scored a lot of points, but Fresno State is only -6.5. Analytics love Utah State because Fresno State only a 62% chance to win. This is a Fresno State team that was ranked last week. If they would have beaten Wyoming, they'd probably be inside the top 22, 21 in terms of AP poll. I think Fresno State wins this game very easily. A lot of money coming in on Fresno State minus the 6.5, 5.5. I think it's down to 5.5 right now, but they should beat Utah State relatively easily. But there is the trend of home underdogs during the week. Utah State, certainly a team. They've been more impressive this year than last year for sure. They are one to watch. And then the 10 o'clock nightcap game. It is Colorado playing a Friday night game at home against Stanford with Travis Hunter returning. Stanford, I want to say, was coming off a bye last week, because I don't remember them playing. Maybe they're just that irrelevant that I missed them. That's my fault if I missed them. That's disrespectful to Stanford football. But Colorado sitting -11. It's demoralizing what happened last week with Colorado. We had them minus the 4, and they win by 3. A lot of people had them -3.5 too, and they end up winning by 3. So they did not cover against Arizona State, but that game was on the road. Now they're back home. I do think they cover in this one. I like the under, and I do like Colorado to win by 2 touchdowns, although it's not really all that of a convincing cover. I just think Stanford this year with 1 win, they're just a bad football team. Colorado has more talent. They're getting Travis Hunter back. They're at home. They're going to be energized. It's a Friday night game. I've got them winning. And then we are going to take a look at these smart money plays here. So just going, where is the money going on to these games? UTEP at Florida International. A lot of money on Florida International. So I'm going against the grain there, picking UTEP plus the 2.5. And then you also do have some money coming in on the under 44. Sam Houston taking on New Mexico. Oh, it is Sam Houston State. I thought they changed their name to just Sam Houston. Sam Houston State taking on New Mexico State. New Mexico State minus the 3.5. There's some money. It's not all that convincing, but 63% of the cash is going in on Sam Houston State. A lot of people in on the under in that game. Analytically, yes, the under should hit under 42.5 there. The Thursday games, West Virginia at Houston, you can see evenly split between Houston and West Virginia, but the public does like West Virginia, 72% of the tickets. The smart money seems to like Houston a little bit more, plus the 3. And then a lot of the smart money loves the under 51.5 in that game at 84%. And then you do have SMU at East Carolina. There's a decent amount of money. Wow. So smart money loves East Carolina plus the 12.5. The public likes SMU minus 12.5. And then you can see everyone's in on the over 49.5 at 94% there in that one. And then moving on to the Friday games, 3 Friday games, Tulane at Memphis. A lot of money coming in on Memphis plus the 4.5. Not surprising considering they are at home. Also money pouring into the under 56 in that game. You've got Fresno State at Utah State. A lot of money coming in on Fresno State, 88% of it. Minus the 5.5 at this point. And then also looks like a lot of the tickets are in on the under 57.5. And then you have Stanford traveling to Colorado. Some decent money coming in on Stanford in this game, 76%. They like the value. Personally, I don't see it. I mean, I just haven't seen enough from Stanford to warrant me thinking they're going to keep that game crazy close. And then people really just split on the over-under at 58.5. I would go on the under in that game. 58.5 for a Stanford team. I don't know about that. But either way, guys, those are just some of the where the money is going right now when it comes to these college football weeknight games here for week number 7. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.